Welcome, Tim.
Thank you.
CEO of Xtium. Tell me about your company. What do you do?
Xtium is a company that does virtual disaster recovery and cloud hosting. We're located in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, and we were founded in 2007, and we're working with a lot of mid-sized companies, small to mid-sized companies right now in the Mid-Atlantic region, taking care of a lot of their IT outsourcing needs.
Tim, you're a veteran in the field of emerging technologies. I've been doing this for a long time, retired, and somehow you got enticed back into the business. What is it about Xtium and the business that got you out of retirement?
Well, there are a number of things that I looked at in all of my career as far as making decisions on what companies to join. This is my 6th startup, and when I looked at every company, there are a number of factors I think that were important. Number one were the people. So I was very impressed with the talent at the company at the time I joined them at the end of last year. Number two was the space. So cloud computing is a paradigm shift in the technology industry, and I'm always looking for very large movements in the industry. When I was at Red Hat back in the late 90s, there was a huge paradigm shift to open source software. So that got me to go to that company, and I feel the same way about the cloud, that there's a huge movement in the technology industry to go towards the cloud for small, medium, and large businesses. The investors, I really like the investors of the company. The company's raised $13.5 million, and it's a very strong firm out of Boston, so I thought that was a firm that was going to help us to grow. So those are some of the reasons that I made the decision to come back out of retirement and to get back in the day-to-day business.
So you said that you've been with 6 startups, and a lot of those startups have gone all the way through to sale. Can you give me some of the highlights of that illustrious career?
Well, sure. Of the previous 5, 2 of them were acquired while I was there, and the other 3 went public. So I was fortunate to have some success previously to Xtium. And one of the reasons for that, I think, is the ability to look at a company for the same reasons that I mentioned before and analyze the size of the market potential, the technology that the company has, as well as the people and the investors. So probably the most prominent of those companies, as I mentioned, was Red Hat, which is an open source operating system company, which is now the dominant player in the open source arena. And it's funny, when I decided to move from Seattle, Washington to Raleigh, North Carolina, which is the headquarters of Red Hat, people said to me, well, I don't understand, this is free software. How are you going to build a company on free software? And even though I didn't have a specific revenue model that I knew we could generate, I did believe that the world was looking for an alternative to proprietary software. So that gut feeling and that analysis that I had done got me to go to Red Hat, which is, as I said, now a $1 billion plus company in revenue and with a $10 billion market cap. I feel similarly to the cloud computing space. There's been tremendous movement towards cloud computing. It's not just a discussion anymore, it's reality. Every day we see more and more companies wanting to talk to us about how do they make the move to the cloud. And our space is the small to medium-sized business. That's our target market. And a lot of those folks have small IT organizations. And even though they have some complex applications, they don't really know how to make that move to the cloud. And we can help them. That's really our differentiation. We do a lot of consulting for them. We help architect their solution as to how they're going to make the move to the cloud. And then we act as their IT organization. So they're not just sending something to us, we are helping them migrate. And so it's been an interesting business, and every day there are more and more folks that are calling us up and wanting to make that migration.
Now, you've recently helped out your own alma mater with a migration to the cloud. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I grew up here in Philadelphia, and even though I've spent 12 years on the West Coast and around the country in the technology industry, I did grow up here, and I went to a school here locally called Malvern Prep. And just 2 nights ago, they had called me and said, look, we'd like to get all of our technology into the cloud. We think that'll help everybody in the school. And so we're working with them now to begin the process of trying to figure out what's the first step in that migration for them. So I'm excited to be working with my alma mater.
Yeah, that's great. So we know how they found you, but how do other companies find Xtium when they need support?
Well, we're doing a lot of work on our, we just created a new website this summer, And we think we've made great progress in that area. So we're doing a lot of the SEO types of activities, and we're seeing more and more folks finding us now. Of course, we're out there doing all kinds of marketing events and so on. We think event marketing is very big for us because people want to see our faces. If they're going to trust their company to us, meaning their technology is going to move to the cloud that we're going to help them run, they want to make sure that we're a very stable, progressive company, which we are. So I think that's a large part of how people are looking at us through event marketing as well.
So what's going to come for Xtium and for you as we go into 2013? Have you made a plan for the company? Where do you see it going? Well,
we've basically doubled our size in this past year over 2011. So our goal is to continue to grow at a rate close to that as we go forward. So we have very aggressive plans for the company. We've just opened an office in Boston. As I said, we're a middle Atlantic area, but Boston's our first office outside of this area. Our plan is to go national here in the next, let's say, 12 to 18 months, where we're opening new markets around the country. And those are very important parts of our strategic plan going forward.
Well, it sounds like an exciting future for Xtium and for you. Thank you, Tim.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.